just not force the issue. See also what turn 5 through, I believe 8 it was, just the uphill chicane section.
What's up?
But the final corner, the downhill right-hander is
Got my
it's a
stuff
bit
set
tricky.
here.
There's a fine line in some cars
Yeah,
where you
copy.
can just go
You
full
have
throttle.
2
but
additional
most
sets
times,
of
yeah,
tires
I
for this
think,
race.
yeah,
I just switched
and
it.
have a good run.
make sure the car stays within the lines because there's not that much
10-4.
forgiveness from the grass on corner exit.
I didn't have a button bound.
Starting grid this
I didn't have a button bound for it
Oh, it's biting us. Okay. Well, we're gonna do this verbally.
until I joined my car, but
Starting grid this evening.
I couldn't join my car because I didn't have a button bound to ignition.
Gotta love graphics doing that. I didn't think I was hoping it wouldn't do that to us. Anyways, Zach Millett on pole. Sean Roberts will start from second. Cody Anderson and Jason Duckworth will make up row number 2.
Dang, it puts me on the outside leader on it.
Position.
So I guess
Super late models will grid up ahead of our late model stock cars, and the late model stocks are giving way. As we'll see
I guess Joe becomes first, right, on the inside.
for a pole sitter Kevin McCann. That will promote Jacob Elliott, it looks like,
Yeah.
to effective pole position in the late model stocks.
Wait.
Then Brian McCann and Michael McCoy will
Mark.
bring up the next couple of positions. With
Mark.
Thomas as well, to the outside of effective row number 2.
Should be
The
Jacob.
inside of the effective row number 3 is Steve Singer. Neil Quick will start to his left side. Then
Oh, there he is.
Patrick Piper and Jason Nethery in what will
Yeesh.
basically be row number 4
Yeah,
ahead of
so he's the
Chris
leader.
Goins and Troy Radford in row 10.
Yeah, he wasn't up here for some
I'll
reason.
get these numbers one day. Leonardo Elijah, Jesse Redding in row 6.
He had to pass a bunch of cars to get to us, I think.
Josh Brown, Matthew Kopp in row 8. Chris Elliott and Eric Beadle in row 9, and 19th on the late model stock starting grid, nearly at the rear of the field, is Dalton Creech. Also worth mentioning, Zach Millett has been dropped to the rear of the field. Both
Get
of
ready.
these guys, with their
There's a
wins
wreck
from
back
last
here.
week, being sent to the rear. They've got to drive through the field to do
Do we start when the green flag goes?
Look at those point standings I was talking
All right,
about. You
man.
see Zach Millett at the top of the
Cars in.
board, Parker Collins
Just
second,
go when he goes.
and a good ways back. This is kind of a high points
Green,
paying
green,
point structure that we'll talk more about during the course
He
of
went.
this race. Steve Singer there in third, McCann in second, Kevin McCann leading the way as 1 week is done.
Car
We'll
on your
turn
right.
things over to the drivers then as they get ready to go
on the
racing
right.
for 50 laps this evening at Lime Rock Park. Green flag is out just like that. We're racing down to turn number 1. The late model is
Does this track have lights on it? Looks like it's gonna get dark.
The stocks a little bit further back, and big time side-by-side racing here in the late model stocks as they fly through turns 1 and 2. They will end up being the faster class for most of this race today, I think, in 1 lap speed. Some of the supers might be faster, but already, here we go. The late model stocks are catching what is supposed to be the top class of this series. Gary, this is not normal for multi-class
It's gonna
racing.
be tough getting around these super lates because they're gonna be faster on this part of this track on us.
Stay behind. I think it's Cody Anderson. Joe Tucker missed entirely. In fact, decided to just not take the chicane, so he'll fall.
We got a super late holding us up. This is gonna be interesting.
As well.
There's an estimated time remaining at the top right of your screen, 35
All right,
minutes or
you're
so. Jacob Elliott is
job, man.
leading
You're up
that
second. Stay
late model
left.
stock
All
class as he
clear, all
comes
clear.
up
Good
to
job. The
Cody
next
Anderson
car is
and
clear.
works his way on by out of the bottom of the hill, turn number 9 to get back onto the front stretch. 1 lap complete as they come around the Samposi straight, and they go on by, well, Brian McCann actually
Man, if we can't get around him here, can we get around him at all?
Elliott further back, we've got a
This
lot
is,
of these drivers. In fact, your pole sitters effectively, Zach Millett qualified first. He is up to 17th overall, and I'm looking for Kevin McCann. McCann's right behind him.
This ain't gonna be easy here.
And falling directly.
We're gonna get stacked up behind us,
Outside one.
and then we're gonna be too wide.
Let's see. Actually, I can't really run the first lap. It's the first lap, last lap there. Previous lap on the first lap. That's entirely down, but Millett is closing on at least Josh Brown and Will Hewitt. And this could actually help McCann. McCann could just fall right through. If Millett does make room for him, he's going to try the outside besides against him.
Millett now going to move to the inside for turn 9. Down the hill, goes right on by Josh Brown. And now Brown going to have to deal with Kevin McCann as they work onto the Samposi straightaway. Piper fastest that lap in car 38. We'll see that fastest lap change hands a few times.
Yeah, this ain't gonna be no fun.
We're at a 55.76. At the top of the field, you've got Sean Roberts and
We
Jason
might just forever be stuck right here.
66 and 73, while Cody Anderson uses that power down the straightaways to stay just ahead of Jacob Elliott. This could be the big story.
Because we're faster in those
stocks.
several cars in front of us.
For late models, but not
They got bigger motors.
because of straight line speed alone.
Yeah, you can see that just absolutely down this main straightaway. It is going to be amazing to see this. As Jacob Elliott was right on the back bumper of
That was
Cody
your
Anderson
fastest lap
for
of
the
the session.
moment. Now,
Yeah, we're turning 56.8s here.
on the exit is just absolutely ridiculous. It's like well, to equate with what you said earlier, it's like almost watching a Red Bull versus anybody in the F1 field.
The car in P12 just missed the fastest lap.
It's weird because they're like a Red Bull on the straightaways and the Williams in the corners.
7.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that goes on by Leonardo Elijah. That is for 14th overall as he continues his strut through the field. Chris Goins, Jason Nethery fighting side by side just ahead. This is
well, that's one way.
in the late model stock class. And
I
Nethery
about didn't make it through there.
on the outside gets passed up by Chris Goins, and Cody Anderson has been turned around, as you mentioned, right in the kind of back.
This thing does not have traction in the grass.
That will be worth a replay for sure as Anderson tries to get back going, and he will finally going through the uphill chicane. This actually could be a weird rejoin. He'll find his way back onto the racetrack here in just a moment, along with most of the field. That's right in front of Josh Brown. And that'll get sorted out. Millette now ahead of Troy Radford, up to 12th.
I screwed that turn up.
Overall standings. Let's take a look though at what just happened with Cody Anderson in that 42 car.
Oh no, what are you
Got one
doing?
on your right. Clear on the right.
We go a little further back and we'll find Anderson, well, already turned around. We're just a little bit off there on the replay. We'll take a look now, and it looks like there might be just a little bit of help from the 07 of Elliott just behind. Let's take a look.
Actually, it wasn't any contact. It was just the power down off the corner exit.
Anderson losing it as everybody scatters. He gets rolling. Everybody trying to take to the grass to get on by. It's a scary moment. That is not easy
Car
to
on
get
your
through.
left. All clear, all clear.
Especially on the central, one of the fastest portions of the track in the city. So that's a great job by Jacob Elliott to just stay off the back bumper as Sam Roberts goes through.
The car in P7
Sean Roberts pitting from the
just
race
missed
lead.
fastest
This is
lap.
early, lap 5 of 50.
0.009. Got
I'm
one on your right.
surprised by that.
All
Really
clear, all
surprised by
clear.
that as we come back to live picture. And here's Sean Roberts in the pit lane. Not sure why he is already in the pits. This is
He's losing his left front.
Last week actually as well, where he pitted really early. I think just trying to get off sequence. But I really don't.
Yeah, they don't tech here, just like GoPro.
Has been overtaken
No, I'm just picking.
by the leaders in late model stock. So flip the top class around. Late model stocks to the top of the board. Now leading with the
Here, you just blow your virtual motor up after the race, and you're good.
And this is such a tricky section of the track, and it shows right there. And of course, again, the corner exit, McCoy gets right to the back bumper, and then it's just the pain of seeing the 70 creatures pull away.
That was
as
your
well.
fastest lap of the
Yeah,
session.
This is
Faster car coming up quick. The leader just did
Mark Thomas out of the UK and Ireland goes right on by. That is for third position in class, 4th overall. So move the 50 car up one more spot. And now McCoy dealing with Neil Quick and some others here down to turn number 1. Michael McCoy with Patrick Piper, Neil Quick, and Steve Singer right behind as they work through the first 2 corners of this lap. Jason Nethery, Kevin McCann fighting as one car spins. Neil Quick, oh, we're just taking a look at Neil Quick and some of those others in that group. He's way out there.
Yeah, he definitely got some help with that one.
We'll take a look and for sure watch Steve Singer in the 6 car here. In fact, we'll go on board with Steve. Keeping it real tight to the inside, and yeah, that was maybe a checkup, maybe a bad move all in one. I can't tell if Steve was trying to put it up the inside or not, but he ended up getting to the inside of Neil Quick, and that's not going to work going into the second apex there in turns 1 and 2. And I think when they checked up, yeah, Neil checked up a little bit behind, was it Patrick Piper, I guess? And that was never going to work out. But now, Steve Singer's been overtaken by Zach Millette with Kevin McCann.
Bad braking zone for me.
So Millette is continuing to tear through the field, now up to 7th overall as he gets by Singer. And sets his sights on.
I locked him up, had to let off.
Duckworth, who's lost another position to another late model stock car, falling down to 4th overall. Here comes the one, maybe.
It didn't stick that time.
Through the first portion of the chicane and lost it a little bit in the back end of the chicane.
Patrick Piper was all over
The car in P1 just hit the fastest lap. 55.85.
That didn't happen, unfortunately, but of course there is another chance here if McCoy doesn't get the 73 Duckworth in his new one. We'll see how things go.
Here comes Millett trying to get up to McCoy and Piper and join this fight. You can see the timer now tracking to Piper in the number 38 car. This could get fun if Zach is able to get there this lap, and I think he will as McCoy tries to look around the super late model race leader, and sure enough, goes on by, get a 38 along with, and that was a tight squeeze as now Duckworth has his leader right behind. Zach Millett going to try to find a way on.
I went very conservative that time.
Now with Millett, the 315.
Could have went a little bit more.
And I think there's a chance that Zach drives the overall lead.
The car in P3 just hit the fastest lap. 55.679.
Here we go. Zach Millett going straight on past Jason Duckworth on the front stretch.
Oh no, it went into fourth.
He has taken over the class lead as Cody Anderson gets passed up by Eric Beadle. Now Sean Roberts, who pitted about 3 laps ago, is coming up to Cody Anderson. And this would be huge. I mean, this would effectively give Sean Roberts a guaranteed 3rd position in class. I know there's only 4 of them left on the racetrack because Joe Tucker.
I think I've worn my tires out.
Still take it, certainly, in that position.
Yeah. Oh.
It's going to be an easy Cody because Cody just goes wide.
This ain't good.
With that car. I'm not sure.
This ain't good at all.
The rules are in the series as far as changing classes. He might end up doing so if he's allowed to. And I gotta be honest, I wouldn't be able to do any better in his position. It's not like it's an easy car to drive. As Steve Singer gets moved out of the way a little bit by Kevin McCann. Here comes Chris Goins as well on the front stretch. Singer really struggling today, but this super late model is by no means easy to drive. If we take a look on board with Zach Millett, this is in the driver eye cam, just watch and see what he's got to do behind the wheel. I mean, he is all over the place trying to save this race car at every turn. And he's putting it in 3rd gear really early there in turn 4 especially. He's shifting up early, downshifting a little bit late it sounds like. He's really having to work this car.
Of course, you also have to be careful here.
Crazy how to change lap to lap.
Well, those curves are, of course, deadly, as I think Duckworth is. Well, no, he's just slow on exit, actually. My problem on the curves.
Yeah, I lost a bunch of time there in the uphill section, giving those spots up to McCann, Goins, and Singer. We'll go back on board here. You'll see it even down in turns 1 and 2 for Zach Millett as he rockets up to the back end of Patrick Piper. He's going to have trouble even on this end of the racetrack in turn 1, waiting on it to come to him, waiting on it. Can't get back to throttle. And even when he does, you can see how slowly he gets back to power, and he just nurses it there into turn 3, nurses it right around the curbing. Same deal here, really easy, upshifts there into 3rd. He is really babying the rear tires on this car. He knows he has to. This is a really scary car to drive around these road courses.
In my practice session, no.
It seems so far for these guys. We'll see if anything's able to change for their setups. But right now, Zach Millett, he's doing great work behind the wheel, but it's a lot of work and it's difficult. As Chris Goins has trouble.
It's not the best section B sideways. I think he's got steering damage too.
Hey, Nathan, pretty much.
I don't think so. Regardless, not the most I think it does get going, but that's probably the best that it was already this far in versus the first one.
Yeah, I'm sliding it a lot.
That's a really precarious position to be in as he was racing with Steve Singer, caught the curbing on the inside, and that car just came right around.
Pulled away from the guy behind me and caught the leader, so right now it's working. I don't know how long though, and I don't think we're going to take tires during pit.
Catching a breath finally, here's Jesse Redding working on Eric Beadle. This is for the...
He might be saving fuel.
...class, and yeah, Josh Brown way out in the sticks. Boy, is he out there. He's out of turns 1 and 2. Beadle way out deep in the corner. It looks like he got there by his own doing. We'll take a look here from the drones. was racing right in front of the 28 of Goins that had just gotten back on track, and Brown's just going to go way deep into turn 1, catches the grass, and he's along for the ride at that point.
Yeah, it's a very notorious thing here at Monmouth Park. I've done it myself one too many times. Turn 1 and, well, I guess turn 1's entry is very, very tricky. It's hard to keep momentum, and as well as just trying to keep it on the track at some points. Didn't want to just slide off as Patrick Ryder was hard over the back number, second.
Yeah, I was going to mention.
Surprised I didn't mess my car up more.
I was going to mention Piper got passed out, but they are now 2 seconds behind McCoy. So Millette now actually almost 3 seconds behind Michael McCoy. He's got a lot of work to do all of a sudden to that 4 car. I don't know if Piper had an issue the lap prior or what exactly happened, but number 38 lost a lot of time last lap. And let's see, his last lap time, instead of a 57.009 like it was, well, it's a 57.613. So he's just gotten way slower these last couple of laps, while McCoy is still lapping in the 55s. And Millette last time was a 56.439. And the leaders now, the immediate leaders are in the 56s. McCoy is still down in the 55 by about a tenth and a half. He might have something here from Mark Thomas. Pat said he's going to go through Neil Quick, a lap car.
Contact for the 36. Does he save it? Barely. Nolan Creech and Leonardo.
Deputy Puff, lack of position.
That was a swerve.
I was going to say battling, and I don't know if that last swerve I think was, yeah, just trying to keep a hang of the car, but these two very much battling for 10th class, 12th overall.
Just behind Troy Radford, and this was the battle and how it happened, and Creech gets turned around just a little bit, tipped, goes for a slide, is still trying to hang on to it, swerves around a little bit in the grass, and comes up nearly into Elijah's number 43 car. Thankfully, they were able to get away from that relatively.
That was nice of him.
And didn't lose a ton of time. Definitely lost time, but not a ton of time, as now Chris Goins will set his sights on those couple of drivers. And this is now going to be a much larger fight for 10th, 11th, and 12th in class. Upward sliding back, loses the spot to Nethery now. And we're going to see a very large gap, I feel like, in that Super Late Model class. It's difficult. There aren't many drivers that are up to the challenge of driving that car. And so Millette has pretty much solidified himself as the favorite. It's a matter of whether or not he makes mistakes, basically, or others make mistakes into him, as here comes Goins all over Elijah. This is up the uphill now into the West Bend. Let's see if that 28 car can get on by.
So you did do a very good decision to back off and get the more apex center exit.
Ooh, I hit the apron. Curb, whatever it is.
Elijah. Goins going to get the run down the start finish straight, side by side. This is for 11th in class. Down to turn 1.
Beautiful.
Elijah. Oh, maybe not, because Elijah breaks first and Goins goes wide, and that is the challenge of turn 1 at Lime Rock. Just summed up right there.
It was still a beautiful move until suddenly it opened the door for the crossover. And you know what? That's racing, especially late model racing. That is commonplace in late models. And there goes Goins up the inside. It'll be side by side as they go to the uphill. This could get hairy. Goins on the inside in the same corner he made a mistake in, and now backs off. Lets Elijah have that spot. Elijah a little bit wobbly, and Goins goes on through. That is great late model racing, road course or oval, honestly. You'll see the same thing on some ovals where
I had to check up the hill.
Jobs it in, you get a crossover back, they do that a couple of times, and finally one driver makes a mistake, and the battle is over.
I thought that Goins was more on the left advantageous line going the uphill section, turn 5.
Hey, Repeat, how's it going? Doing pretty good. Thanks.
The leader just did a 55.789.
On board with Brian McGann, as we have 18 laps now in the books, this race going by in a flash. Let's take a look at our weather conditions for this race. 79.1 degrees in the air, 84 on track. It is a relatively warm race, especially for Connecticut.
Sometimes it fails the upshift right there.
Certainly summer temperatures for these guys. I think it's having an effect.
Oh, that was a perfectly executed thing he just did.
Hot track.
'Cause I'm stuck.
Got one on your left.
Cool either.
All clear, all
And,
clear.
we're seeing the effect on tires as Jacob Elliott tries to go by.
That's the super late model in front of me.
And will do so into the uphill. That's going to put
Got one
McCann
on
in the
your
mind as he tries to get by the 66 car.
Go there.
He had
One to
really,
left. All
really
clear, all
Elliott
clear.
in lately and now loses over a half second. And in the West Bend, of course, that super pulls away
the car coming
and
up
becomes
quick.
more of a nuisance for the 3 car.
Got one
Damn,
on
he's
your
gonna
left.
blow my doors
You're
off.
leading on the car, front.
No,
The
there
gap
we
is
go. I was gonna say,
1.8. Clear on the left.
Place himself on the inside and then hold that 66 wheels, and that does happen. So, Sean Roberts though slow. Maybe not. Here we go down the straight.
I wanted the low side there.
Oh, wait, no, he backs off. All right. Well,
That cost me a bunch of time.
that's definitely some form of commentary in real time on what the heck is going to happen here. And, well, that definitely slowed McCann a lot. He's now 2.2 seconds back from Jacob Elliott. So now he's going to have to do everything he just did, going all over again and a bit faster.
He passed in the perfect part of the track to do that too.
Start finish line. Was a big shot.
Yeah, that was a massive inconvenience in the 3 car. That really hurt this lead battle as a whole. Now 2 seconds the gap as opposed to being inside of 1 second, nearly down to a half second, as now Zach Millette looks ahead at last week's late model stock winner in Kevin McCann. Piper slinging it out sideways there through the uphill. And Millette was at one point only 7 seconds back of our race leader overall in Jacob Elliott. Now, Millette is 9.9, nearly 10 seconds back of Elliott's 07 car. So clearly there is
Yeah, I've always liked this track.
an issue with tire wear for this super late model. And I feel like at this point, if the car was just a little bit more, what's the word, neutral maybe in balance, if it wasn't so crazy to drive, you would have 2 really good cars that could almost go at
You
it
have about
really
5
well in the
laps
same
left on
class just because of time.
He's gonna get held up
It
here.
seems like the Super is faster, of course, in a straight line and picks up that speed
No.
for a bit on cold tires, but then on new tires anyways, and then on older tires it
Trying not to get any off tracks for the bonus point.
to see these cars in the same class if the Super just wasn't so
No, I've already got 2. Oh, where'd that happen?
Dipped his left side tires in the grass front a little bit there for a quick moment, but the grass level decides to not snag.
That ain't super late model. That's Matthew.
off into
The car in P5, just at the fastest lap. 55.631. Car on your right. Clear on the right. All clear, all clear.
To Brian McCann.
pit stop. Zach Millette coming into the pit lane. So Millette will come on in and take, I'd imagine, 4 tires and fuel. And yes, he will. Yep, left side.
Bad turn in.
This is 100% a 4-tire stop for Millette. This should be pretty much the standard, at least for the Supers, which is also something they have working against them. These late model stock guys don't necessarily need to take tires twice, if at all, in these races, even though we expect 2 pit stops. And there goes Millette. And this looks like a one-stop race for the late model stock cars on fuel. This might even be a one-stop race for the Supers based on Millette stretching this out nearly to halfway. We'll see. Just based on the lap count, it's looking like it could be that way as Millette is down on the way after 23 seconds on the jacks.
Let's see, he's relatively comfortable in comparison to, well, Duckworth now, who's
Oh no. No.
so
Got one on your right.
seconds.
Still there. All clear, all clear.
That's actually on the pit stop, so I'm got the wrong delta here. 41 seconds total on pit lane, so will essentially be
That didn't help.
for class.
And it's about a 20-second gap between the 2 in class right now. Sean Roberts is much further back from Zach Millette, or we're not sure entirely of, well, I piece it together, 2, 4, makes it 6, that makes it about 9, about 12 seconds between Millette and Roberts on the racetrack, and the leader is not far behind Millette, in fact only a few cars. But Millette should be able to put some time between himself and Jacob Elliott as you see Elliott working through this lap traffic some more. That is Jesse Redding just ahead. And we'll see if the 21 car gives way or not. This is on board of Jacob Elliott out of Illinois. A big run there out of turn 4 and drives right in the back of Jesse Redding for a moment Now we'll dive to the inside, and Redding gives way, but that was certainly hairy for a moment there out of the fourth corner, and that brings Brian McCann ever so slightly closer. The gap at least narrowing a little bit.
Yeah, somehow between all that time, the gap went back from, and now it's back to 1.5 seconds now. It was fluctuating a lot. It went from
The lead is at 87.47.
And, well, Elliott has
Oh, I really
so,
slid out there.
Still on board here with McCann, and we've got a pit stop from the late model stocks finally. Michael McCoy down to the pit lane. As these drivers come down for their first service, and it looks like only service as this happens coming on to lap 25. So last week a 2-stop race for fuel, this week a 1-stop race. And this is where, yeah, I mean, these guys are not going to take tires. They're going to do it on just about 12 seconds of fuel and get back out there. It was a very different story for some of these guys last week. I'm really surprised. Netherly also in the pit lane, not taking tires, it looks like.
Bad pit entry, but I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, he is taking tires. And so this is interesting. This is going to lose him about 9 seconds in the pit lane, but he should have a little bit of extra speed. I don't know how much extra speed, as the Redding is also in. There's Brian McCann and Kevin McCann. This is the money lap for a lot of these guys. I'm surprised Elliott kept on ripping. We'll see if Steve Singer pits.
That's it, go.
And yes, he will.
Well, how do you do?
it's only Jacob, Elliott, and Mark Thomas.
Fine, how do you do?
Jason Douglas might come in quick this time. Yes, he does.
So Duckworth coming in, and the estimated time remaining still on the top right of the screen, 22 minutes and 50 seconds or so. Chris Goins comes in. Now Troy
Shall we meet again?
Patrick Piper is already pitted. He flies down the front stretch and passes all of these guys back and gets right up to be behind Kevin McCann as far as the standings go, about 7 seconds.
I didn't know that guy was behind me. Ooh.
These guys
I was not looking in my mirror.
McCann is the top driver that has pitted. Ryan McCann, that is.
Oh, he just overshot the
Second.
Oh, man.
Didn't lose the spot, but lost a little bit of time as Michael McCoy now looks on from the 4 car. And this is closer than these two were before the pit stops.
Unknown.
12.5 second stop for McCoy, 13 second stop for McCann.
Lost the lock of that.
Dude, he should be asking me, am I fast? Oh my God, I almost went off the track.
He goes to third. It's going to be passing Mark Thomas right now, and they do. Second car in line.
What happened to my tires while I was in the pits?
So who's slow back onto the racetrack from the pit lane, and there is contact. That sends Kevin McCann around. Mark Thomas going to have to get on the mic and apologize for that one. And McCann is way, way out there right now. He is clearing the grass of Lakeville, Connecticut here, doing some landscaping.
I think I see what he's trying to do. That might more than likely get him slowed down. Probably even force cut back.
Damn, he did a much better pit stop than I did. My pit stop was horrible.
All right, you're back in second.
Interesting there for Kevin McCann as he rejoined.
Only practiced it once, and it wasn't great.
McCann, of course, won last week at Miami. Very different story here today as he runs 8th in class, 9th overall. Trouble for sure for car 33. Let's take a look at the point standings again, by the way. As we'll go on board here with Kevin McCann. Actually, we'll go on board with Michael McCoy. He's quite close to Brian McCann, the brother to Kevin, who is now mired deep in the field. Here's a look at those standings as Leonardo Elijah comes into the pit lane. Kevin McCann, Brian McCann, 1-2 last week out of the Carolina Club. Steve Singer went 3rd, Chris Goins 4th, Mark Thomas 5th. And this is a very different look to today's race with Jacob Elliott leading. Brian McCann in 2nd is about the only consistency we can find. Mark Thomas runs in 3rd to Michael McCoy in 4th. I don't recall McCoy even on the racetrack last week. Of course, Elliott wasn't here last week either. Patrick Piper, I don't think, was here last week, so a whole lot has changed as now Singer is down in 6th, Kevin McCann is in 7th, Chris Goins is in 8th. Those are 3 of our top 5 from last week at Miami.
Or Steve's
That's just in the
checking
late
me,
model
or he
stock
doesn't know how to drive this track.
Just pure shuffle throughout this.
Unknown.
Brian Rose, I don't think is here today. So no Brian Rose in the race. Jason Nethery is down in 12th spot overall, 10th in class.
I would see no reason to brake check you.
Already been lapped. In fact, Neil is down in 19th overall, 16th in class. Troy Radford, however,
Yeah,
is
shifted to
actually in
second
his
the
same
final
position
turn.
from last week in Miami. He is 9th in class as Eric Beal.
That's a full send.
In the supers, you can see Millette right back where he belongs up top. Parker Collins not in this race today. Sean Roberts second, as to be expected. Jason Duckworth and
Oh, no.
Tucker in this race in 24th overall. And Anderson, unfortunately, well down the order.
About did it there.
He is 21st overall. That is the last car in this race.
Right front ain't what it used to be.
To talk more about the standing or the schedule just briefly is actually Sean Roberts comes back down the pit lane. If we talk about this schedule briefly, what stands out to you personally here, Gary? I think the Roval at Miami has to be the first one that stands out to me.
Yeah, it's one of the, I think, schedule. Yeah, that's the only track on this schedule that is essentially a Roval, not necessarily an established Roval. So that's one of the unique.
The leader just did a 55.854.
That's pretty much a mix, but line by Parker's course where it's kind of short, a little bit of elevation, and some couple types.
Hold up, does that work?
Mostly based on fast forward circuit, mostly. Then we have circuit Joe in Canada. Montreal.
No, that's where I was slow last night.
All straight away, couple of contest.
Like, that's quite an improvement on time there.
Man, I have to go through Lansing for something that's going to be very intriguing. It's always sector one for me.
Whoa, Dalton Creech! Oh, Jesse Redding just gets by on the curbing, but Dalton Creech sideways there in turns 1 and 2. And he will fall down to the 15th.
Points-wise, I'm right where I want to be anyway.
Here comes Neil Quick.
Second place. Winner has to go to the back like Kevin had to do.
Class is now a not-so-decent race for Dalton. In the rear of the fielding class, there's the 2-car of Neil Quick trying to find a way by contact, and Neil now will be sent off into the grass. So problems.
Depends how much the bonus for winning is.
Meanwhile, up ahead, Zach Millette now works up to the 43 of Leonardo Elijah, as Millette has not been able to get by Patrick Piper.
It's relatively well. We'll see. You might be able to get by here, depending on how these next few moments go. But it is not definitely in the form of the 5-mark trucks, not just in front of Piper. But Millette should be able to get the run, well, at least a run this horse down this straight figure down to turn 5. Yep, there goes.
You got one on your
Good get
right.
Harry, that was close.
They
Never
left.
know which way they're going.
Barrier there.
I was setting up to go low.
Across the racetrack in front of
It worked out.
This will be scary. Now off the track again, comes back on. He is not having a fun time.
In fact, he's technically service lord.
That Troy Radford?
That corner car.
He's got internet issues.
Now he's got all these 3 cars behind him.
Jesse Redding, the 21, gets passed up. He's a lapped car, but the 6 and 33 are
Quite distracting.
Steve Singer, Kevin McCann, they're racing for 6th. And McCann is going to be aggressive, I think, on this 6 car. Maybe not. It was looking like he was getting a little bit unruly, a little bit impatient behind the 6 car through the back end of that last lap. But very patient there in turns 1 and 2.
I can't say thank you to him.
Inside, that being
I'm not in that channel.
2. It looks like a Matthew Cobb.
Leader's fast.
Down the straightaway just about. We'll see a little bit tail kick there from the back, from the rear tires of the 6.
Singer nicely to the apex. At least the first apex up the hill. Every car, each one of these drivers in that battle had something different that was smooth. It was smooth on exit from Piper. It was smooth to the first apex for Singer. And I think following certainly was nice from Kevin McCann. The way he got in there deep, but still did not get in the back of the 6 car. Everybody did something nice there, and you can see they're all still in the line. Singer down to the inside for turn one, looking. That's going to open the road maybe for Kevin McCann. Singer, though, keeps it nicely down on the inside.
That was 83 on the left front in the pits.
Really good racing between these three. The damage for
Bad turn.
The damage for Piper. The
83 left front, 90 left
aspect for
rear.
Singer as there goes Anderson into the grass.
93, 92 on the right sides.
And then I think McCann's faster, but of course is behind the mark right now because of that issue he had a little bit ago. Now Singer looks to the inside into the uphill, and that binds him up once more.
McCann had the smart decision to just back off and thinking those two were going to go side by side. Just decided, you know what, I'll race the track at this point rather than the cars. At some points of racing, that's what we want to do.
Here we go.
Ringer wants to try and race Piper. That just scared Piper offline.
Oh, Singer goes on by. Here comes McCann now on the 6 car. And
That doesn't
Singer
help.
Fending down the front stretch. But here comes Kevin McCann, last week's winner from Miami. He gets a 2-for-1 between the downhill and turn one. And gets on by not only Patrick Piper, but also Steve Singer. Going on by for the 5th position now on the racetrack. So flip-flop that.
I exceeded my braking capability.
About the way it would have worked out anyways. McCann, I think, is the faster car. Singer's in the middle of the 3, and Piper's a little bit off now with that damage he's taken over the course of this race. They do have 15 seconds, though, back to Chris Goins, as Zach Millette was only a couple of tenths behind Mark Thomas briefly, who's now been passed by the 4 car back in the corner.
I'm an idiot.
I think Thomas tired.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
So that's not exactly what you want here in the final 15 laps, just about 15 and a half. Since he's about to make his way into the uphill section. He's in the world of his own for overall and slash single labels, late model stocks. There we go. As we were, Jacob Elliott has 7.5, just about got to Brian McCann. McCann's not here.
The leader just did a 55.947.
That's pretty much it.
I can break myself.
Kevin McCann still saying 5th overall.
Singer was looking that time of McCann. I thought we were going to have a fight.
No, and that's going to be an easy pass.
Oh!
Yep, there goes McCann. He took too much of the.
Pissed off.
Kevin McCann, another big time mistake this race. From race 1 to race 2, big difference as Chris Goins will not be able to pass him, but the time lost is huge for Kevin McCann. That rates him out of either one of those positions, 5th or 6th. And Chris Goins, maybe now, if McCann has damage, can catch back up as Piper takes.
He might be upset.
Steve Singer nearly got to the back end of that 6 car, but no dice there in turns 1 and 2. The 6 car has a chance now to maybe drive away.
Just trying to get more
Oh, I needed that run.
Car on your left. Still there? Hold your line.
That almost worked. It's just
Thank
We're
you.
on the left.
very obvious red card.
I wasn't sure where to brake there.
No, number 6, white number 6 on the side of the top over. So it almost worked out.
On the inside line.
The bit under fire action from number 2 of Neil Quick.
In a slow car briefly, this is Eric Beadle as those fights go on.
So that balance out.
This is Beadle down into turns 1 and 2, gets in deep through the grass, and eventually found his way back on as Zach Millette finally gets by Mark Thomas. Let's just go straight from the replay to this fight then, and watch Millette as he sets up Thomas. I'm assuming for a turn 1 pass after the downhill. Let's watch what Zach Millette does. And then we're coming to another replay as it looks like Dalton Creech and Sean Roberts have just had a moment. This is the pass from Millette onto Mark Thomas.
That's a super in front of me.
That might have been a slowdown for the 50 car.
It was definitely a moment, and it's not a good moment. Chris Goins also got caught up in that as well.
Dalton Creech way out at the
nice.
Ben chicane. I'm not
Got
sure
one on your
what he's
right.
doing here.
All clear, all clear.
That's
Very
ridiculous. I don't know what's going on here. Here's the onboard.
That is also a super.
Let's listen for a second. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he made a mistake.
Faster car coming up
But
quick.
that reach
Got one on your right.
God.
All clear, all
Slow
clear.
down to the left turn is not enough.
Oops.
With that left-hander, you have to slow down a lot.
I can't even say sorry to him.
To the racing line.
I mean, this particularly is just awful. You are perpendicular.
I don't know if he slipped or
Traffic. Roberts, no.
he just wasn't that fast there.
Here comes Gones getting a piece of it right in front of Beetle. That's really a shame. That is really silly. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do that. I'm not racing the guy in front of me.
Perspective here on board. There's no level of
coming up
apology
quick.
that's going to make this any better for Roberts or Gones.
Nowhere to go.
Thankfully, Beetle got on by, I think, without issue, but that certainly.
I wasn't even in third gear. I was in fourth gear right there, wasn't I?
Now Creech out of the race, Anderson out of the race,
And they go with the
out of the
line.
race, Brown
Like really bogged down.
all out of this race. Now 6 cars behind the wall,
Got a slow car on the left.
leaving 19 on the racetrack. Not much of a fight for the race win.
Uh-oh, that's Matt.
Elliott is clear of Brian McCann by 7 seconds and change as 1 car is out in the dirt. And I think it's Matthew Kopp, and it is.
I think, yeah, it's pretty much at this point. It's now 9 seconds between Jacob Elliott and Brian McCann. So the only thing McCann could really hope
You got
for
one
is
on your
for
left.
a lot of
Clear on the
mistakes
left.
or a lot of lap traffic from Jacob Elliott. But well, I think McCann is more in the lap traffic than Michael McCoy is in third place. About 4 seconds back from Brian McCann. So he should be at the shot in second place.
Looking at the last few lap times, or at least the last lap time for McCoy versus McCann. McCoy's last lap of 57.073, McCann's last lap of 56.
Yeah, it sucks I wrecked that guy because I'm just maintaining second right here.
Brian McCann, we'll see what it is.
My only
across
task.
this time. With a 3-second gap in between them, the difference across the line.
About 2 tenths.
Yeah, they run nearly identical lap times?
Yeah, it's a 56.987 for Brian McCann and Michael McCoy 57.795. So rounding about 2 tenths. 2 tenths faster.
There we go.
But he's got a
Yeah.
bit of traffic.
Took a long time for my timing and scoring to update. No, no, yeah, you can see, lost a lot of time right there on the uphill following Nettering. 4.1 seconds now. There'll be 8 laps to go
Oh,
this time.
wow.
It's not undoable, I guess. It's not outside of the realm of possibility for Michael McCoy, but it's impossible is the word I was looking for. But now 4.5 seconds onto the front stretch, 4.6. That's not going to be easy, although now slowing down is Brian McCann. I think that's just turn 1. It just brings those times back together, so still 4 seconds regardless, no matter how you want to look at it. And this traffic in front of the 4 car is really tough. Top slow on the inside. McCoy tries to go over the inside. Nethery gets around, and now the 4 stuck behind Kopp again.
There it goes.
That is difficult as a an oncoming driver in the lead fight, or I guess leader positions like that. That is always difficult.
Through the time and scoring speed. Well, I would say it was about Kevin McCann and Piper, but just a lot of good Patrick Piper got passed by Kevin McCann, and everyone's being sent out by this point.
So Piper's had more issues then. Last we saw between these two was McCann being broadside, and
Sent you off the runoff.
oh yeah, that's a weird spot. That is in the uphill runoff. Yeah, up that chicane. Weird spot for the 2 car to be in. Must have got in deep.
Curve. Spun right out to the essentially another turn, but in this case it's pretty long.
Nethery now giving way to the 4 car of McCoy. What is interesting about that is Nethery was racing Duckworth for overall position, albeit in separate classes. I don't think they'll tango very much. I don't think Nethery really even cares about that too much, aside from maybe some bragging rights if he's able to go up there and beat second place in the Super Late Bottles. think that's really the only thing he'd have going for him. Meanwhile, Chris Goins has just been lapped. Now Patrick Piper, the final car,
Went a little too wide on that last one.
had some kind of issue. McCann has gone by. Now Singer's ahead.
Tire marks were deep.
There's a look at the very clean number 6 car. Castle Packs power on the hood of that machine. Steve's had a clean race-ish, but he's definitely been in a couple of moments. But he had that issue in turns 1 and 2 where he turned one car out. I think that might have been Neil Quick early in this race. And then
Bad turn.
Little bumps and scratches.
Yeah.
Mid portion.
Lost that good run I had.
Just
That ain't going to be a 55.
from Zach Millette, and this is going to narrow the gap big time to Jason Duckworth.
I'm going to calm down a little bit on this lap before I wreck.
Still way back of the 315 car.
Yeah, how much fuel these cars take, how long it does take to refuel, but 7.8 seconds for the last, just about 5-ish laps. That's going to have to, probably might have to look at the overall bearing down. But other than that, still coasting as well. I'm wondering what's going on. There's just how low the goes.
We usually expect about, we're usually going to expect, I should say, as it's only race 2 of the season, we're usually going to expect 2 pit stops, but some tracks will end up being a one-stop race by nature, and this could just be one of them. And there is a lot of time for these cars in particular where they're off throttle, and that, of course, is burning less fuel than if they're on throttle as Piper comes into the pit lane. I'm surprised. 25 might be exactly on their marks. We could have some of these guys coming in right at the end of this race that have been trying to save enough fuel to go to the end, but just haven't been able to do it, as there is a fast repair for Patrick Piper in the 38 car. And he will get back after it. Chris Goins goes by. Jason Duckworth, I think, will as well. And he does.
You have about 5 laps of fuel left.
He's not taking tires. He's just taking a full tank. I think that's
A long time in the box. This is more than this must have been a penalty. This could be an incident penalty. Usually that'd be a stop and go. Could it be a hold?
Wasn't a speeding penalty. This is smoke on the entry.
Ain't no reason to run hard.
The entry is 35, but he met the 35 mark, so
That definitely looks like a speeding penalty just based on 43 seconds. Looks like he came in for like a splash and dash and collected himself that 40-second penalty on entry. But Piper now gets on the racetrack behind Mark Truxell, it looks like. And yes, Truxell, the next car up the road from Piper.
after the race, of course, I'll take a look at the session events essentially, which is all just the
Smoking.
penalties and whatnot. Eventually, that's happening to see what happened so we won't have to wait long.
Car on your left.
Troy Radford having some connection difficulties. He's been back here kind of blinking on his own. Running 15th position in class. Good that nobody's really around him immediately, but as we
Love how the spotter starts calling out lap times right as you get beside somebody.
Potentially is. Here comes Jacob Elliott down the Sam Posey straightaway. 2 laps to go. Right.
That's Neil Quick.
One more car pitting. It's Piper again. So something definitely. What he might have done, Gary, is tried to eliminate pit service and not taken enough fuel potential. That, or he has to come back in. Could he have been speeding on exit? Is this another 40-second penalty he has to serve? Oh, he's coming in for tires. With 2 laps?
Car on your left.
You're not going to get it in 1 lap.
All clear, all clear.
Well, Jacob Elliott is just now coming around.
Yeah, that's
All right, man.
a
White flag at
really
the line.
odd situation for sure. Anyways, here's a look at Jacob Elliott onto the front stretch now. White flag this time by. They go by quickly here at Lime Rock Park.
I think I caught the leader a little bit, didn't I? He might have got held up in traffic. He was
7. Brian McCann.
He's probably faster than I was consistently. Obviously, he's in first, but I mean, he was better at it. I made more mistakes.
And here's our best fight on the racetrack. Kevin McCann, Steve Singer. This is for the 5th and 6th positions on the racetrack overall and in class, and it could get a little bit spicy. A couple of drivers I thought that would be much more prominent in today's
Good on
race
you, lad.
are
Left on
really, I think, going to fight it out here for these last couple of points inside the top 5.
It ended early, didn't it?
It's going to be one heck of a battle. They'll get the white flag this time by as Jacob Elliott is going to
No, this is lap 50.
So just a couple more corners to go for Jacob Elliott, and here we go out of the final
Second.
corner. It is a race win. It is first start for the 07 car to victory lane overall for the late model stock of Jacob Elliott. Brian McCann will come around to the front
Great
stretch
job,
and
driver.
take second.
Now he's got to go to the back
Take third.
for the next race, and I don't.
Is just ahead though of Steve Singer and Kevin McCann.
I'm
This
calling
could
that a
be
win.
fun for 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack. Bit of trees there, but Singer's got company. I don't think there's going to be any change in position. Old tires, respect from these three. I just don't think there's anything going to change these 3 spots. Onto the front stretch they go. Is anything going to happen? To the line.
You have to slow down
No
and give up the
change for
time
those
gain.
3 spots as Zach Millette comes around West Bend now. And he will collect the super late model victory in just a moment as he works through the downhill section and back on to the front stretch. Another race win for the 315 car as he goes to victory lane in Connecticut.
What a race this was.
Good race,
Chris
guys.
Gomes across the line. He was 1 lap down Duckworth as well. So Elliott puts a lot of cars 1 lap down all the way up to 7th position. So 8th through 19th still running at the end.
Was a
All
good
what,
race.
13 cars.
I didn't
by
get
the
to
time
race
it's all
too
said.
much.
Impressive run here from Elliott today. I don't think I saw a single mistake out of that 07 car, and he will come
Mostly
around
just
and
driving around and been in
finally,
traffic.
I think, celebrate a little bit here at Lime Rock Park as soon as they get their podium picture on the front stretch. Gary, it was
Go
it,
ahead.
it was a pleasure having you. As I'll let you get your point in here.
Overall, I very much enjoyed this, and now
Fastest lap was lap
It's been
15 at a
very, very grueling
55.7.
race today. Looks to be I see.
Jacob
Alright,
Elliott,
so
was that the
it's
winner?
Both essentially. A lot of
Yes.
issues for Patrick Piper. What happens is that he got
His
penalized
quick
for,
was quickest was a 55.7
black
on
and
lap
meatball
47.
flag,
Aha.
and white, the black and orange meatball flag, and then he got speeding in
So-
the pits and held for 15 seconds.
He was
specifically.
turning high 55s, slow
Pretty much right at
56s
the- I believe pit exit is when
at the first run, and then mostly
Let's take a
56
look at our
at the
unofficial
end.
race results this evening. Jacob Elliott surprising a bunch, I think.
Just a few 55s at the
Straight on the
end.
top of the board, led 46 laps of this race. I think what's more
Look at
surprising
mine.
is that we saw this much of a disparity between late model stocks and super late models. I think we knew on
Yeah.
pace it would be close to being a
He was
late
faster.
model stock race, but there's a lot of learning to do with this combo. There really is. And I commend the No Bull Racing Series on taking this leap of faith with these cars in this format. But there is a lot of learning for us to do, that's for sure. As you see how it all sorts out
Broadcast.
here on the top 10. McCoy and Thomas, 3rd and 4th. Steve Singer, Kevin McCann there in 6th as his brother Brian McCann goes 2nd. The second week running. I'd imagine he's our points leader after today. The way this all works out. Zach Millette will take the super late model win once again. Only 2 spots on the racetrack ahead of Jason Duckworth after Millette had to pit. Goins in 8th, Duckworth 9th, and Jason Nethery takes the overall top 10.
And then 11th through 20th, we had Troy Radford, who had a quiet race, but overall he did pretty good. He kind of, again, a quiet race, but a quiet race doesn't mean it was a bad race. He started in 9th, only dropped 2 positions, but on paper,
I need to get their logo up on my
take that at the end of the day.
screen. It's PTM.
Finished in the 12th place position.
Let me make sure I got it right.
Finished in 13th. 14th was Jesse Redding. And then finished,
No, it's
rounding
Pit
out
Stop
the top
TV.
was Eric Beadle. 16th overall was Sean Roberts, but third. in
Pit Stop
class,
TV on YouTube. I don't know if they stream anywhere else,
who,
but I got them up on
speed
YouTube here.
penalty and both speeding penalty and repair penalty at the very end, finishes in 17th, 2 laps down. Neil Quick ran into some issues, especially in the chicane portion with a couple curbs. He finishes in 18th, Matthew Kopp 19th, and Dalton Creech rounds out the top 20.
Oh, I got to go back and see
Justin
who I
Waxman out
wrecked.
in the chat saying, let's go Jacob for Jacob Elliott from Team 53. And Certainly, props to Jacob Elliott. I
What
just want to
lap
stress
was
this is
that?
his first start with the series. Goes out there and slaps, and this will be interesting to see now with some new drivers coming in, missing a couple of rounds. That's usual for leagues. It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic shifts and who's the top driver. As we take a look there through the rest of the results, Cody Anderson, Josh Brown, Chris Elliott, Joe Tucker, and Will Hewitt. At
Would
the
have
back
slowed
end
me
of
down
the
quite a
field.
bit. Maybe it was
Let's
this
bring
50
in our overall race winner this evening, Jacob Elliott from Team 53. Laxton's out in the chat, all fired up that you went to victory lane this evening. 46 laps led out of 50. What was it like from behind the wheel of that late model stock car?
Oh, it was amazing. Got a lot of time behind this track and this car. Really good job. Good
Yeah,
preparation by the Team
here.
53 guys. I do have
Sean
to give a
Roberts.
Shout out to my buddy
Whoops.
Ryan Nardone. He was on the pit box coaching
What
me. and
happened
spotted me
here?
this
Or how bad it
race.
looked on camera.
Making sure I didn't stomp that loud pedal too much. Trying to save some of that fuel.
Yeah, I guess he just couldn't get on the throttle.
And of course, a lot of you guys running these late models this season, of course, you are oval guys running this road course series, but you get some cross pollination. I think there are some oval things. There's some, I guess, consistencies.
Oh, wait, did he slip?
We still have
He hit
some
the apron and
strategies
slip.
Even on oval races, sometimes you can make it a one-stop.
Look at
race,
that, y'all.
sometimes
He's
it's a
pointing to
two-stopper.
the.
Last week at Miami, a two-stop race.
Yeah, he.
Why did you guys specifically go for the one-stop strategy, and why did it work?
Okay, he was all out of control, and then I hit
He's gonna
him.
be key at this
Got it.
place because
Because
we
I
were
was
right on the
expecting,
edge,
being a
running
super
flat
late
out.
model, he was going to get on
I
the
think he
throttle
made
here.
Exactly 25
Just motor
laps.
off away
You know,
from
if
me.
you save a little bit of fuel, you turn it into a one stop and save about 30 seconds overall.
And how are these tires holding up? I'm sure there is a road course compound for these cars, or at least a harder compound that works. But these are, of course, left-turning late model stock cars that are built for
See what happened to
half-mile
Kevin.
speedways across the South. What's that translate like? What's the car geometry?
He
to these
had a
tires over
1 minute .9 at
I
lap
can't give away all the
36.
secrets. Tires are
Big
definitely a
happened
big
there.
thing here. Making sure you keep those rear tires under you. So there's a couple secrets I can't give out quite yet. Maybe later on in the season I will.
Well,
I
there you
thought
go.
he
Yeah,
had
we can,
two.
get an idea of what Team 53 has for their setup sauce at some point. But I really do like this paint scheme, by the way.
What lap was that amazing pass that Steve called you out on?
Late addition here to the series. Hopefully, we'll see you a lot more this season.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good talking to you guys.
Absolutely. Jacob Elliott from Team 53. Justin Laxton out in the chat. Let's go on down, though.
And you got to,
not overall race winner this week, Zach Millett.
I
who
got
wins
other
the Super
sounds
Late
coming
Model
through, messing
Series.
me up here.
Zach Millett doing a fantastic job, finishing in, well, 7th overall.
Hey Brian, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but good race, man.
Very fantastic job.
Yeah, man, good
running
race.
and of course, the
You were you just pulled away after that fuel stop. I was trying to fuel save, and you just walked away from me, man.
Oh man, anything past the first maybe 4 or 5.
Did we pit the same lap? Because I didn't have to save any fuel.
I was trying to short shift as much as I could to keep.
I don't think so. Like when I came out, yeah, I think you pitted one lap later than I did. I was being cautious,
of course,
and then
a little bit of the
my fuel
behind the
calculator said I was going to have 0 at the end, so I didn't want to run out like last corner and couldn't make it across the line, so I just started like
wasn't exactly
breaking all the way back. I think at the 4 or the 6 marker or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't remember.
On the first stint without coming in.
Yeah, I didn't have much fuel at the end myself.
At the same time, I had to kind of.
But then I guess I overdid it because when I crossed the line, I still had almost 2 laps worth of fuel left in the tank.
And at least stayed quick enough to stay ahead. I knew I could come in, maybe do a splash and go and keep the lead.
Do you know who finished P1 in our class?
Doing a one stop. It looked like I was trying to keep
Jacob Elliott.
to see where he was.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
was tight. I was really hoping I could stay ahead of him at the end.
And luckily, you did manage to do that in, I was about to say in 2 weeks, not necessarily. Well, yeah, no, 2 weeks. July 9th, we go to a circuit, Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. So more of a straight line track, basically, some aspects of it, especially with the long stretch before the final chicane down to the main straight. So your thoughts heading into Montreal for the next race in a couple weeks?
I think it's going to be one of the tracks that the Super Late's going to dominate on. It's just a good heads up.
That amazing pass must have been earlier.
Back and forth. We kind of knew line off. It's going to be
I got to stay in here for the interview,
yeah, we're going to
Neil.
get to practice and put some laps in. So it's
I can't after the interview.
Lane or the podium position or somehow combination of both. Great job for today. And we hope to talk to you next
10-4 nil.
After his brother went to victory lane. It's not quite victory lane on the racetrack here, Brian, but it is victory lane. I'm assuming maybe not in the house, but at least between brothers here, a pretty solid P2, only to Jacob Elliott. It seems like it was a pretty organized race, though, for your number 3 car. Not a whole lot of action. What was it like from behind the wheel?
Yeah, I had to learn the track. I did do some practicing here, but maybe 20 laps, but I don't think I was up to 100%. But yeah, Jacob was real fast out there. I don't think I had anything for him, and I made a few mistakes myself, and then we got separated by something like 9 seconds. Yeah, really hard pit here. I only practiced that once, so I lost a bunch of time there. Other than that, it was a good race, clean race. I did accidentally wreck a super late model. I'd like to say sorry about that, but yeah.
How's the dynamic out there between the late model stocks and the supers? I know the super is really challenging to drive. We're seeing the effect of that very early in this season. Do you think that's steering guys even further now as the season gets going away from the super? And do you think it's going to be more of this late model stock dominance?
It's hard to say. I don't know if I can speculate on that, but it is a really interesting dynamic, because at this track, they had us on that last 2 straightaways, but then we had them in the inner part of the track, and that's the hardest part to pass in. So it kind of made it difficult. It's still fun to do, so I really enjoyed it.
Well, Montreal's next up, and there's a lot more straightaways there. Seems like there might be a little more disparity between you guys, at least you guys in class. Is that going to, I guess, open things up for you guys in late model stocks to do a little more battle just between yourselves?
It may, if we, have a clean start and get out in front. That would be amazing. That front was, that start was a little tough there, and I think I heard some wrecking behind me. So, yeah, see what happens.
There's Brian McCann from P2 this evening, still up on podium, and I think will be our points leader potentially after this evening at Lime Rock Park. Brian, congratulations. Hopefully we're talking to you in Canada in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brian McCann there.